God of War Ragnarok's finally got a release date, Skate's going free to play, and PlayStation's introducing reward points. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 272 of the It's Obvious podcast. My name's Garrett Drake, and I'm joined online by Jacob Alka.
Garrett, so glad to be back. Happy to be here, and really happy to see you, not in person, but on camera, looking into your beautiful face. You have so much hair. I have none. It's quite depressing, but I love seeing you regardless.
Jacob, I appreciate the apt description. Likewise, I had the feelings mutual. The face, or not the face, the hair on your face makes up for the lack of hair on your head. And the lack of hair on your head makes up for the lack of hair on my face. So today we are truly equals.
Yeah, we're opposites.
And for that, I'm thankful. Opposites attract, Jacob, and as we know, we've had a deep, sexually driven attraction toward one another for years that we may or may not have acted on a handful of occasions.
Yes.
And it's a shame I can't touch you today. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't recall the last time I was in your presence physically, and it's what keeps me up at night.
Last time I saw you was when we saw Doctor Strange together, whenever that was.
Okay, it's been a minute then.
Yeah, a couple months, I think.
Speaking of Doctor Strange, Jacob, it reminds me of the MCU. I am not going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder in theaters.
You're not? Why not?
No. I have something hit me, dude. When that movie came out, just a wave came over me that said, just don't go see it.
Really?
And I've heard many reviews, and usually I very rarely let reviews sway my interest in seeing a movie in theaters, but the reviews for this one really encouraged me just to wait to watch it on digital.
Is it not that good?
I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, mostly, if not middle of the road, mostly negative. I've maybe heard one positive review, which is a shame. And no one's really said it's a bad movie. People just say it was a huge missed opportunity in a lot of ways, and it kind of felt like a lot was missing, and then also the story threads didn't tie together very well. Some characters kind of left to the wayside. And it's kind of a rare reaction to a Taika Waititi film, because I think on the last episode I was going on about how I really like his work, and this is probably a rare misstep for him. Mm-hmm. Some people made the argument maybe he's continued to make Marvel movies so he can fund his smaller, lower budget projects like Hunt for the Wilder People and Jojo Rabbit. So that's a rumor. Who knows if it's true? But that being said, I know every single thing that happens in the movie. I didn't even care about spoilers for some reason. So I'll watch it when it comes to digital. I'm sure I'll have a good time with it to some degree, but I can tell that I'm not willing to pay the price to see it in theaters.
I understand that. Yeah, I probably wasn't going to go see it either. I'd read a review that was kind of mixed as well. So I don't know. I
am excited to see Nope next weekend, though. Nope is my most anticipated movie of the year right now.
Yeah, those trailers are certainly interesting.
I've only seen the first trailer. I don't want to see anything else. And I really like Jordan Peele, and I love what I assume to be aliens in the movie. I really love alien movies. So knowing him, though, there will be some added twist to it, which I look forward to. Yeah. So very excited for that.
Yeah, I think I'll go see that too. I like his work.
Talented man for sure.
What have you been up to, dude? What's new?
Just working, man, nonstop. It's been a very busy summer with the boys, so we're having a good time, bouncing from project to project. I've been out of town a lot as well. I haven't seen my dog in almost 2 weeks. I miss him.
Aw.
And I'll be heading back out of town tomorrow, going to Nashville for a day.
Okay. It's not too far.
Quick trip for sure.
You driving?
It'll be good. I am driving.
Nice.
I actually really enjoy the drive to and from Nashville.
I do too. Yeah, it's a nice little, what is it, about 3-4 hours, I would say.
Yeah, on a good day, it's like 3.5, just under 4. It's just very scenic. Like, I love when the mountains start to open up, and especially passing through Chattanooga, that big lake you pass through on that big curve. I love that. That drive is beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I go that way, or I have in the past gone that way frequently, because that's the way up to a lot of my family in Illinois. So I'm very familiar with that drive. And Nashville's like a big stopping point for us. Like, we'll just go eat somewhere, or even Chattanooga. We'll stop somewhere, do stuff there. So Tennessee is fun. But I'm more of the same. I'm just working a lot. Nothing too exciting is really going on. And yeah, it's just, it's another week.
I think I had my first old man experience in the shoot we did a couple of days ago.
What happened?
It's so funny because I work out rigorously, if not 6 days, at least 5 days a week. And I'm very careful with my exercises. I work out every single part of my body, back included, legs. I don't skip anything. And I know I do it correctly and safely. So it was very odd that I went to in this gym we were filming in hang from a pull-up bar. Just as I've done a million times, I very gently let my weight hang so I could stretch my back a little bit. Very lanky build and have a longer torso than I do legs. So I'm kind of weirdly shaped anyway, but I was hanging very comfortably and all of a sudden something like popped in my lower back and it actually felt good. I was like, oh, great, that felt good. So then I hopped off it and I felt totally normal. So then a few minutes later, I go to pick up a pretty heavy camera. And of course, I am lifting with my legs, but I bent over just a little bit. And all of a sudden, my back just like gave out. And I like collapsed onto the floor.
What?
My lower back was like in severe pain out of nowhere.
No.
Not to the point where it was like debilitating. It was like more funny than anything. But
Yeah.
I physically like had trouble getting off the ground.
Oh my
And
gosh.
for that whole day, I couldn't bend over. I just had to stay up straight. For the rest of the day.
Oh my gosh.
And it still hurts a little bit. It was a couple of days ago. It's much better than it was, but it was just so odd that of all the things that are going to take my back out, I was just letting it stretch hanging from a bar.
Yeah, it's so strange.
So it was weird. I'm going to go to the chiropractor when I get back in town and see what's up, but I don't know.
That'll be smart. Yeah, a lot of last year I was dealing with just back pains and like a tailbone pain. But ever since really once COVID died down, I don't know what the timing of that is, but like I just started to feel better. So I haven't really had any serious pains in a while, which I'm really thankful for.
Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. We're getting older. And
we are, yeah. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be careful.
So we're hanging in there.
Yep.
But Jacob, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Not much. I really haven't been playing much. It's been really hard. Like we talked about last podcast, it's been really hard to motivate myself to really want to do anything gaming related. I'm not really sure why that is right now. I'm even having trouble jumping back into Elden Ring. It's just not really calling to me right now. I think I might have mentioned that I was on the Fire Giant last time we spoke, but I did get past him. I beat him.
Oh, nice. You did it.
Yeah, he wasn't too bad.
I haven't tried to fight him in a long time, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So what really helped was using my God, what is that spirit called? The one that like mimic spirit. That's what it is.
Okay. I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, I forget where you get it.
I could probably find it on YouTube in like 2 minutes.
I think you get it in like the Nokrin city, like the city that's like underground that has all the stars in the skybox. I think it's somewhere down there.
And that place is massive too.
Yeah, it's massive. Good luck finding it. It's somewhere down there though. So after that, where did I go? I think I just kept progressing in that area. I think I went back and killed some sort of dragon somewhere. And then like I went into this. Oh, okay. So after you kill the fire giant, there's like a little cutscene that happens and you get teleported somewhere for some reason. I'm not going to tell you why. And you basically you come to this city that's like a dragon city or something. But you like the skybox, you see a big coliseum in front of you or like a city that's like crumbling. There's a bunch of dragons in the sky flying everywhere. And basically I've traversed through this city a little bit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. A guy I know, when I was watching him play a while back, was in that area. It looked awesome.
It is really cool. And you have to fight, or you don't have to fight them, but several dragons like try to swoop down and take you on. You can just run past them if you want. But there is a boss fight that I'm struggling with, and it's not a new fight. You've probably fought each of these guys at least once, but it's the like the wax dudes with like there's the fat one.
Yeah, you fight both of them at once.
Yes, so that's the boss fight I'm struggling with right now. And so I probably
they're both individually pretty tough too.
They are. And together they're very tough. Luckily there is a summon that you can do, and then you also have your summoning bell. So you could have two things helping you fight. But it's annoying, and I probably tried it 4 or 5 times and then I just stopped playing. And ever since I stopped, I haven't really gone back. So I don't know why I keep taking these breaks from the game. I don't know. I lose interest really quick. But I'll probably go back to it soon. I don't know. I just need to get through the game and get it done. It's like been in the back of my mind for a long time, and I just can't bring myself to finish it. Not that it's a bad game. It's just me as a person not being able to sit down and commit to it. And then besides that, I've been just doing some like mount runs and cosmetic grinds and WoW, just trying to some new cool stuff. Nothing too serious or exciting, to be honest. But I think that's it for me. I haven't really been gaming too much.
Nice. It's been pretty minimal for me too with all the travel we've been doing. But when I have had time, I restarted Red Dead 2.
Okay.
For real this time. I don't know if I'm going to play it every week, but I've played a decent chunk of it so far. And it's nice to replay it because when I initially reviewed it, I just had to fly through it as fast as possible because I had such little time. So even though I scored it a 10, I knew how good it was at the time. And I really did enjoy everything I had played, although I had rushed through it. It's nice to really sit back and savor the side missions and the smaller moments and not feel that urgency that comes with reviewing any game, especially in that scenario was pretty intense. So it's been really fun to replay that. Other than that, at night, I'll occasionally play Modern Warfare 2019 with Zach. And we'll do a lot of gunfights. Still love that mode. Do a lot of hardcore as well. And yeah, excited for Modern Warfare 2 in October. So that is all I've been playing, my friend.
Why hardcore? What is it about hardcore that you guys like?
Zach likes it because his whole sense of progression of that game comes from golding weapons. So he's golded and akimboed every single pistol in the game, which is a lot less work than like the assault rifles. But that's where he gets his sense of progression and accomplishment. So you can do that fastest in hardcore.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And is hardcore still where you die quicker, less hits?
Yeah, you have less health, no HUD, and stuff like that. So it's very stripped down.
Yeah, I remember never liking hardcore very much just because I don't know. I didn't feel like it was the game mode that everyone played, so I didn't like it because of that very reason.
Yeah, it's a little more niche than the main stuff, but it's still fun.
I just remember Zach always wanting to play that mode, or whoever we were playing with online would always want to play that. I never understood why. But I didn't know that like it's easier to upgrade guns that way. It's kind of cool.
Still having a lot of fun with it, though. It just has me that much more excited for Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I want to try that new Warzone. Hope it's good.
Yeah, we'll know soon. Jacob, let's talk about the news. God of War Ragnarok is coming November 9th. Finally, we have a release date.
Yes.
I feel like this release date was just forced out. I could be wrong about that. I realized that like announcements like this are carefully planned well in advance, but it felt kind of out of nowhere to me.
Yeah.
Because people were like, the leaks. And then Sony's like, or not Sony, but Santa Monica's like, we'll let you know when we're ready. And then like 24 hours later, the release date was out. Yeah, I mean, the cinematic trailer is cool. I still haven't seen anything from this game that has me freaking out about it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm definitely excited.
With this release date, they like showed a cinematic trailer that was 30 seconds long, I think, which was kind of cool, I guess. It didn't really do anything for me.
There's got to be at least one state of play between now and November where we see a substantial demo.
There's got to be. I mean, otherwise, like, they haven't shown anything really to be excited about.
And this is meant to be a conclusive chapter to the Norse saga.
Wait, really?
The Norse chapter. Yeah, to God of War. So that's what Santa Monica said. It doesn't mean that maybe the story threads will progress into either a different mythology, maybe going forward. We don't know, but they say this will be the conclusion to the Norse chapter.
Okay, I did not expect that. I really didn't.
Yeah, that's all we really know for now. I'm not really interested in collector's editions, but it's cool that they have the Thor's hammer, like I don't know how to pronounce it, Jotnar edition.
So I think the hammer is actually called, what is it?
Is it not Mjolnir? Is it called something else?
It's Mjolnir. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that comes in the collector's edition though. I'm trying to see what the Jotnar edition comes with, like extra, like a pin set, a soundtrack, and
a bunch of crap I don't have room for in my tiny apartment.
Like a map or something. Just other little junk, little nicks and knacks that you don't need.
I wonder if Preston pre-ordered this thing. Something tells me he did. I haven't asked.
I bet you he did. Report back to us if you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just get the $70 standard, I think. My digital edition. I'm keeping up my my track of only doing digital games on my PS5. Regardless, like even though I have a disc drive, I still just want to be digital. I'm saying goodbye to all those game cases. I don't need them. They're just taking up space. I don't need them. No, Garrett, I don't need them to feel like I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? Like I know that I'm a gamer. I don't need to show off my game cases.
I just don't have space for anything right now.
That's
so
the real reason.
But yeah, speaking of physical releases, I saw that Ubisoft and people are kind of in an uproar about it when you really read the details as to why they've sort of revoked the Liberation HD Assassin's Creed game. It makes sense from a business standpoint at the end of the day. But I brought up the conversation surrounding digital game purchases and how, technically speaking, we don't own the games. We just own the license. We purchase a license to play them. And if publishers just made a decision to remove games from the marketplace, we would, from what I understand, we could lose access to them at any time if they chose to do that. I highly doubt that will ever be a real scenario, but technically speaking, that is how it works, which is interesting. But that doesn't really bother me at all because I have zero expectation of that happening. And even if it did, it's like, whatever. It's probably a game I've already played anyway, so it's all good.
I really feel like the only time that is really a problem is when you have games like the Cliffy B game. What was that game called?
Lockdown.
I gotta pull up my Steam.
Liberation. No. It starts with an L. Lawbreakers. Nice work. Yeah, in those situations where you have a game that's completely online, and then the other case of when, you know, the studio actually shuts down and they can't support the game anymore, and no one buys them out. Like, that game's just going to be disdiscontinued. You'll never be able to play it. Lost in the ether.
Exactly.
Lost in the digital sands of time.
Where not having a disc would be, a downside. But that game never had a single player to begin with. It lived or died by its online community.
I think if it had come out 5 to 6 years earlier, it would have had a chance to stick around, but it was just really bad timing all around.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game. We talk about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There were definitely some cool things in it.
I don't really have much else to say about God of War. I'm just glad we got a release date. So
it's nice.
November 9th, it's happening.
To plan ahead.
PlayStation Stars is a thing now. It's a loyalty program for what does PlayStation call their online service again?
PS Plus.
I can't remember. PS Plus. That's right. Hashtag not fanboys. That's proof of it right there.
Clearly.
This is from Ryan Dinsdale on IGN. He says, announced on the PlayStation blog, the loyalty program will begin later this year, though Sony didn't say when exactly, and will be free to sign up. Players will be able to complete objectives, with some as simple as playing a game once a month to earn points that can be later redeemed in the PlayStation Store or for other rewards. The catalog of items may include PSN wallet funds and select PlayStation Store products. And members of PlayStation Plus will also receive points for purchasing items in the store, similar to the My Nintendo program on Switch. So that's kind of cool. I'm assuming these digital items, let's say you unlock like a plushie of a character. I'm sure there's some digital space where you can hold this thing and look at it, which is fine, I guess. But I think it's cool that they're doing this. Gives all the more incentive. I'm assuming it's first-party games exclusively. It would be bizarre to me if it's for third-party games as well. But say you earn a particular trophy in the next God of War, and it's like, hey, you earned this many points to put toward your next digital purchase. Like, theoretically, you could save up to purchase a game on the PlayStation Store with your stars points just from playing other games. Is kind of cool. I imagine it will probably take a while. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But I don't really see any harm in this. I don't really understand the My Nintendo program because I don't do anything online with Switch. But on paper, it seems to be a totally fine idea and consumer friendly. So, and it's free to sign up. If it was like a fee, like pay $10 a month to earn digital points, at that point, you're basically just paying a monthly fee to later invest in other things. So,
I just think it's assuming there's nothing malicious about this. It just seems like a nice way for PlayStation to pay back to their most dedicated users. They'll be getting discounts on new releases or funds that they can put towards new releases. And I'm seeing something here. I don't know if you read this, but the first person to get a platinum trophy in a game gets an extra special reward. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
whatever
that is cool.
Ends up being. But I think this is cool. I watched a video that was saying that Sony wants it to be clear that these are not NFTs. Like, there's no way that you can earn these and sell them on a digital market or platform or something. Like, these are just strictly little digital rewards that you can earn as a PlayStation user.
I could see people in the future trying to sell their accounts entirely if they wanted to. I've allotted 100,000 PlayStation Star points and I have all these digital items. Like, if you want my account, I'll sell it to you for $500.
Can you imagine?
Is that legal? I don't know. I don't understand exactly how that situation works, but I could see people wanting to do that in the future.
Yeah. I would say they probably frown upon that, but can you really stop someone from doing that? I don't know.
It sounds potentially illegal, but I wouldn't know for sure. So,
because I assume you can just change your email and
Because people used to sell RuneScape accounts and like other MMO accounts and stuff back in the day. So who's to stop them from selling? I wouldn't be surprised if people have already sold PlayStation accounts or Xbox accounts that have a bunch of digital games tied to them.
Surely they do. I mean, people definitely sell like WoW accounts and stuff. That's definitely happens. Yeah, it's a cool little program, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll see when it rolls out later this year.
Yep.
Skate 4 is officially called Skate, period.
Nice.
Stoked for this. It will be free to play and cross-platform. And Carlos Perez Skates writes in and says, Skate! Maybe early to ask, but when it comes out, are we shredding online together? Absolutely.
Yes,
my buddy Zach and I have already said that we intend to play. We signed up for the test beta or alpha, whatever it's supposed to be. I think they're going to have multiple leading up to with the full release, but we signed up in hopes of playing some of these pre-alpha builds. It obviously is still heavily under development, but excited for it to come out. And I think free-to-play and cross-play is no surprise whatsoever. I think cross-play especially is very beneficial. I'm still shocked that Skate 1 through 3, at the very least Skate 3 isn't on PC. It blows my mind. It's crazy how hard it is to play that game anywhere but like Xbox, and I don't even know if you can play it on PlayStation 5, maybe only PlayStation 4. Excited for that, and I was talking to a coworker about just joking about how the microtransactions would be like paying to build a real skateboard, which is like roughly $200 for a really good one. It's like pay $200 to get your digital skateboard that you build from scratch, or to buy new wheels. It's like a $5 a pop. I'm assuming it'll all be cosmetic, but because you can't monetize like, oh, like you can purchase this ramp to build your custom skate park or purchase stuff like that. It's got to be purely cosmetic, otherwise you'll fracture your free-to-play player base. So I'm assuming it'll just be like clothes and graphics and skate deck graphics and everything. So
yeah, I'd imagine so.
I think that's all a good thing. I have zero concern about them limiting your ability to play it through microtransactions. I think it'll be purely cosmetic.
Yeah, I hope there's like cool things that you can earn in the game. Having that said, like I don't just want everything to be, you got to pay for this deck to write something new. I hope there's at least something that's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be a healthy balance to some extent.
You think that, but a lot of games don't have that.
No, we'll see. But at the end of the day, I mean, I've never been that into cosmetics in any game anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me to begin with. As long as the gameplay's fun and I can play with my buddies and mess around, like I'm happy. Yeah. That's just me though. Yeah. Carlos goes on to write, also Jacob, how far are you into One Piece and how do you like it so far?
Man, dude. Oh, it's so good, Garrett. So how far in am I? I just passed the 600 episode mark. It is insane. I love the show so much. And if you don't remember what happens around episode 600, it's the what's it called? Not Thriller Bark. That was a long time ago. It's the Punk Hazard Island, I think it is. It's the one where two of the Navy admirals had a big fight, and basically it made the island, one part of the island is frozen and the other part is covered in flames. And what else is going on? I forget the villain's name. Caesar Clown. He's doing like experiments and stuff there. Yeah, Garrett, one of the villains' names is Caesar Clown. I mean, there's a lot of villains, but one thing that I love about the show is that every single villain in the show has the goofiest laugh you can possibly imagine. Like, if there is a villain in a show and you hear, like, even before you know they're a villain, if you hear a goofy, weird laugh, you know that they're going to be a villain. Just every single laugh is comedic.
In traditional anime fashion.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the show. I was actually surprised that I got to 600, like, this fast. I mean, it's taken a very long time. Like, I started watching the show like mid last year, I think, but just been slowly chipping away at it. And it's just one of my favorite shows of all time, if I'm being completely honest. It's I love, like, you know, people like set out to go on a journey to like achieve, you know, greatness, for lack of a better phrase. Like, they're just going out, they're starting out as nobodies and they're slowly but surely becoming, you know, heroes, or, you know, superheroes basically in this show. And each character is just fantastic. Like, I love the whole crew. They're great. Oh wait, I'm supposed to pitch Garrett on the greatest. Oh, he wants me to pitch you on the show.
Give your best pitch to Garrett to start the best anime show. Oh,
So
you're talking about pitching me on One
this is
Piece.
the
That's the
best
thing,
show.
dude. I would watch every anime ever if I had the time. I just don't have the time.
This one's hard to commit
So.
to, especially since there's a lot of filler too.
I'm also in a place where I'm watching shows specifically for creative inspiration, because just the career I'm in, and I constantly want to learn and grow and progress, and a lot of that comes from watching a lot of content. And as much as I love anime, it's like I either choose to watch stuff that's going to creatively inspire and educate me, or watch anime. And anime is so good, I love it, but
It is.
I just don't have the time.
Well, Garrett, if you do ever have the time, this is the show that you should watch. I'm telling you. I don't know how you would ever
hear
find
you,
so
man.
much time to watch the show, but it's so
Yeah.
good. I love it so
You know,
much.
I've recently had a wave come over me of wanting to watch Dragon Ball from beginning to end.
No. Oh my gosh.
And just because something about it, I've always been into Dragon Ball Z, and I've seen chunks of Dragon Ball, but I just randomly wanted to start from the very beginning and just go through that journey with Goku.
Yeah.
But maybe one of these days, you know, and I don't know when that'll be, but for the time being, I have no time for anime, as much as I appreciate it.
Dragon Ball is very notorious for filler. And
I love talking about anime. I meet people all the time. We'll talk about anime. I just don't have time to watch it.
I respect that.
Two shows I've watched recently that I'd like that I'll note on real quick are Severance on Apple TV, and Severance is fantastic, and The Bear on Hulu has been really good. Really enjoyed both of those. Anyway, Skate.
Skate's great.
I'm jealous. I'm like just green with jealous rage because Zach's been able to play Skate 3 at night on Xbox Series X. It is co-op if you have Xbox Series X, but I don't have that. So I can't play with him. But he sent me just the best clips, and I miss playing that game. And I'm very excited to play the new one. I love that it's cross-play and free-to-play, so it's very accessible. So stoked for that. I like to think it'll at least be at like 1.0 by early next year, maybe like Q1, late Q1 of next year would be awesome.
That'd be cool. We'll see.
So especially if it's a game I imagine they intend to update over time, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
So Carlos, thanks for writing in, man. And we are doing well, and we hope you are too. Jacob, there's a Terminator game, survival game, coming from a studio called Nacon Milan, which I've never heard of. It could be Nakan.
Nacken.
Who knows? Nakan Milan. It says it takes place in an open world and is set between the events of Judgment Day, the Skynet nuclear strike that causes the apocalypse, and the formation of John Connor's resistance. This definitely interests me. One, because I've always really admired the Terminator franchise, particularly Terminator 1 and 2. The rest are kind of, I can give or take, but I've enjoyed all of them to some degree. I haven't seen the latest one. I've heard it's pretty bad. But I'm someone who really likes Terminator Salvation. I realize it's a deeply flawed film. There's a lot of goofy stuff in it, but I always like that take on the apocalypse in the Terminator franchise. I can't believe no one had thought of this before, but it makes perfect sense to have a survival game based during that time period. I can just imagine living in, very Fallout in a sense, but much darker, probably a little more grounded. But I like to think of it like Alien. What's that Alien game that came out where you hide from it? Alien
Isolation.
Isolation, where you encounter different versions of Terminators from the franchise, like the T-1000, T-800, and when you encounter them, you can either run for your life or use what resources you have to take these things out. And I like to think that if you take one out, it's like a huge reward of supplies and materials, or maybe you can even reprogram a Terminator to become your companion to a degree, and it can defend you. Maybe it gets damaged and you can repair it with materials you have. Maybe you have a home base, NPCs that will give you quests like, hey, we need to get to this Capitol building in downtown, I don't know, Portland or something. And we need to get these materials for the camp. And I can just imagine all the fun scenarios you can encounter in an open world survival game in Terminator. Just makes so much sense. And I can't believe it hadn't been thought of before. So I am very excited to hear more and especially see more. Yeah, it just sounds really cool to me. How do you feel about that?
Not the biggest Terminator fan, not gonna lie. I've only seen the first one. So I haven't really been too invested.
Man, you haven't seen T2 Judgment Day?
No.
It is a classic, man. It's one of the best action movies of all time, I think.
Yeah, I've heard the first two are good. Then everything else is just kind of meh.
Kind of whack.
Yeah, just kind of ridiculous. But I like the idea of a Terminator game, I suppose. I don't have anything against it. I've never really heard of the studio before.
There have been many Terminator games before, but mainly based off of existing movies. There's been one or two that have been standalone. One, I can't remember the name of it, that was really good. It's third person, but this will be the first Terminator game in a while, with a fresh idea as well for the franchise.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say. I think it could potentially be really cool.
Potential is the key word there. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for sure. And speaking of potential, from a studio that it seems to be the same studio unless it's a different Nacon studio, but it's Robocop Rogue City, developed by Teon and published by Nacon, excuse me. And I'm probably totally pronouncing that wrong. It says will be released on consoles and PC in June 2023. So it's a ways out, but they did release a gameplay trailer. And I'm also a big Robocop fan, just really the original. I don't even like the sequel that much, but the 2014 reboot wasn't terrible, but it wasn't nearly as interesting because I think it was PG-13. The Robocop, the original, is known for just how grotesquely violent it is. Really loved that first movie. And I think in the back of my mind, I had the idea that this would work really well as a video game, but the trailer looks pretty impressive. It looks like it's super brutal. It's first person. What's his name? I can't remember the actor's name, but he's reprising his role and doing the voice work, and his face is in the game as well.
That's cool.
It appears to be just like an action thriller game, which I'm on board for.
Yeah.
Whether it's level-based or hub-based, it'd be cool if you're actually in the police precinct and they send you out on missions. You can get in your car and like go to place areas and like liberate them and stuff. But even if it is a single-player narrative-based action game, that'd also be really cool to me.
Yeah, I think this game's perfect for a Robocop fan. Like, I think, it looks fairly entertaining. I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't blown away by anything that was in the trailer, but it, definitely feels like something that a Robocop fan that's looking for more of Robocop would definitely want to consume and play. So, if that's you, then I would watch out for this one.
I'm one of them, Jacob. I look forward to it. And I already know one game I'm looking forward to in 2023.
Do you?
Hopefully that and Skate I'm playing in 2023.
Yeah. We got some pretty great games coming up. Not going to lie. It's been fairly slow for quite a while, but I think it's really going to pick up here soon.
This is a random thought, but I have a feeling in my bones, Jacob, we're going to see the next Spider-Man game's gameplay before this year ends.
You think so? That would be so cool. Like,
I think there will be a state of play where we see a decent demo of the next Spider-Man game before 2023.
Do you think it's possible we could have a state of play that has gameplay for Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2?
No way.
No way?
Yeah, those two games are way too big to be on the same stage together.
But why, Garrett? That's what I want. Please.
I'd love that. Don't get me wrong, I'd love that, but
please.
I think their state of plays typically, I mean, rarely they'll have every now and then they'll have a state of play, for example, it's like solely focused at Horizon. This is all about Horizon. You just solely focus on that. But when there aren't big updates for games, it's typically minimal announcements, trailers, and then they might have a little tidbit of something coming.
Yeah.
But for their big, heavy hitters, they typically dedicate an entire state of play to them. God of War, I think, desperately needs that. I mean, the game's going to sell very well. I think everyone is going to, who enjoyed the first one will inevitably pick up the sequel regardless, but myself included. But I think the game desperately needs to be shown in a new light, because the last time we saw it, I enjoyed what I saw. I think everyone mostly enjoyed what they saw, but a lot of people did say, like, this looks very familiar. Is there anything new? Aside, of course, from character progression and story, it'd be nice to see what new gameplay ideas they've implemented into the sequel.
Yeah.
Anyway, not to get us too off track, let's jump into AskIOG.
Oh, man.
AskIOG is the part of the show where we answer your questions submitted through any of our social media at ItsObviousGaming, the AskIOG section of our Discord channel, or email to us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. And if you want your question read live on the show, always include the hashtag AskIOG. Corey Reddick. For some reason, I thought of Riddick from Chronicles of Riddick.
Yep, classic.
Corey Reddick writes in and says, the best Steam/PC hidden gems.
Oh,
That's tough because there are just countless games on Steam, so I don't even know where I'd begin. You know what I'm going to say first. It's not really a hidden gem anymore, but if you haven't played Hunt Showdown, please play Hunt Showdown. It's absolutely
I would say that's
trying.
a hidden gem. It really is. Not enough people play it, and it's very good.
I love that game.
You know what my hidden gem is?
What's that?
Deep Rock Galactic. That game
I was going to say that,
awesome.
actually.
I love that game.
For some reason, that's one of the first ones that came to mind. And I've only played with you that one time, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I've played a few times with other people, and it's always fun to just jump in and fool around, mine some rocks with some friends. It's great. Another one for me, Ghost Runner. I haven't played this game enough, to be honest, but Ghost Runner, it's basically just a wall running cyber ninja game where you just run around and take out bad guys, and You go through like a little story too. It's cool, but it's a very cool game. There's another one. I mean, this isn't really like a hidden gem, but it's something if you haven't played, it's definitely worth, and that's Celeste. This came out a little bit ago, but it's probably the best platformer. It's one of the best soundtracks that I've ever played. It's like the soundtrack is so good. Like it actually makes the whole game. Like you could just take the game and like take out all the gameplay and just put a completely different game in there, and I would still just play the game for the soundtrack. That's how good it is. But yeah, I would. If you haven't played any of those, definitely look into them. They're fantastic. You got any more?
Those are good ones, Jacob. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I can't think of any more myself, unfortunately, but I think you got some good ones in there. So I can vouch for Celeste. I haven't finished it, but the good chunk I played of it, I also really liked.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, Corey, thanks for writing in, man. I wish we had more for you, but those are definitely some we highly recommend. Nikolai writes in and says, "Yo, my boys.
Yo.
Thank you for an amazing show. The fact that you guys are still putting out episodes are always something I look forward to." Nikolai, thanks for the support, brother. He says, "My questions are: 1, what is your ranking from worst to best Blood, Elden Souls, Die Twice games?" I'll go first.
Okay.
Worst to best. Now, these are based on the ones I've played. And worst is a harsh word. I wouldn't say based on quality because I like all of them deeply. But worst to best have been Dark Souls 3 isn't very fresh for me, although I remember really, really liking it. I'll say from worst to best, Dark Souls 3. Next, I'd throw in Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and then Elden Ring. That's my worst to best.
Okay. That's a good list, I think. Wait, did you say Sekiro was last?
No, Sekiro is my second best.
Okay. So Elden Ring is your favorite.
Yeah.
I think mine's similar, except I haven't played. I never really finished Demon Souls, and I haven't played Dark Souls 2 or 1, so those won't be in my list. But I think I would go probably Dark Souls 3.
You never finished Demon Souls, did you?
Nope.
Man, on PS5, it's so good.
So from worst to best, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, then Elden Ring.
Yep. Nice. So you like Bloodborne more than Sekiro?
Purely just because of my experience when I played it. Not because I think it's a better game than Sekiro. Like I think if I played each of them separately right now, I think Sekiro would be a much better experience than Bloodborne. For multiple reasons. But I think
Sekiro is an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bloodborne...
I think all their games to some degree are a masterpiece.
Yeah. I mean, Bloodborne has a lot of things going against it right now. But it has the best, like, environment and the best... I just think it's one of the funner ones to play. Not that they're all not... They're all fun. Like, they all play very similarly. And I think Sekiro and Bloodborne do things more different than the other games do.
For sure. Yeah, I wonder if I'm holding out a false hope for a either remaster or just 60 frame upgrade to Bloodborne. That's the only reason I haven't tried to replay it. As much as I love the game, I'm still holding out hope that we'll get an update for that. It blows my mind. We haven't, at the very least, got a frame rate boost in that game. It's crazy to me.
I wonder what it is.
With all the fan demand over all these years.
That is very surprising.
But, I mean, I understand that's probably way harder said than done, but it's been a while.
Come on.
Come on now. What else we have in here? Have you played a game that you were trying to 100%, but it's almost too damn hard? For me, it's Crash 4. Trying to platinum this game is sometimes making my hair fall off. Yeah. I tried to platinum Demon Souls, and I could still do it. It's just a lot of work. My second playthrough, it's really like the collectible aspect trophies that are the most tedious. And what little time I have to play games these days, the last thing I want to do is hunt for little trinkets just for the sake of a digital trophy. So I think I let that go. But that one I gave up on. That was my last platinum that I was trying to get. That was really difficult.
Yeah, I don't think I've really gone for any that are tough, I would say. Most of the ones that I achieved were just, collect all the things and you'll eventually get there. I mean, there were some times where achievements would be hard, but never too hard where I would just rage. And if there was, I can't remember it. So, oh well.
Yeah, I think I've shared this many times, but my philosophy on trophies has always been if whatever trophies I'm working toward are a lot of fun to work toward, I will absolutely platinum a game. And the last one for me was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yep.
So if I'm having a good time, I'm all for platinuming a game. But if it's going to require a lot of tedious time invested, then I'm out. So, but then again, PlayStation Star is coming. If there's a really good reason to go after a trophy, I have no interest in going for it. If it's going to give me something cool in the store, maybe I'll think twice about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think I stopped platinuming games because I just was less interested in the PlayStation platform, all things considered. Like, it's just not my home anymore. I'm much more of a PC guy now. That's another thing.
I understand that. Nikolai closes out and says, thank you for an amazing show. Love you guys. Greetings from Denmark. Well, Nikolai, we love you, man.
Thank you, dude.
It always blows my mind to hear from folks outside the country or outside the U.S. is always cool.
Yes, sir. Respect.
Victor writes in from Sweden, actually.
Victor
says, no question, guys. Love that you don't stop, and I have faith in you. Thank you, Victor. Okay, maybe one question or what you want to call it, but I miss when IOG had videos so we could connect even more. Love from Sweden.
Yeah,
I miss that too. Jacob and I in unison, man. I mean, the three of us especially cranked out a lot of videos over the years, but Jacob and I definitely made I think a couple hundred together at the very least.
Yeah.
And it has been a minute. It's just we're beating a dead horse at this point. We just don't have the time, which is a shame, but we do miss that.
I wouldn't say never, but maybe one of these days we'll put something fun together. I wouldn't say that's like a promise or anything, but if there's like a new game coming out that we both just love to death and we both have a free time over the weekend, there's always a chance that we would get together and do something fun like that. But
for sure. I
wouldn't count on it anytime soon.
Fribes writes in and says, you have the day off. Do you prefer gentle rain with rolling thunder, mid-70s and sunny? Well, it depends on what I do with my day off. If I'm going to go out and do something, of course, I want it to be sunny and the mid-70s. But if I'm just going to stay home and watch movies and play games, I love when it rains and thunders.
Yeah, it completely depends on if there's a new game coming out that I really want to play. So if it's like launch day of a game that I just am dying to play, bring in that rain, baby. Like, give me no reason to leave my room, Like, I just want to sit there and enjoy. But if it's, nothing to play, got nothing to do, it's a nice, 75 degrees outside, the pool's open, that's where I'm going. Like, I'm going to go enjoy that, get out of the house.
Heck
so it really just depends. But if there's like no determinant, if there's no like any factors, if I'm just picking between those two things, I'd probably prefer the rain, if I'm being honest. I like rainy days because I don't feel like we get them enough, at least where we live.
Thanks for sharing, Jacob.
Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks for writing in, Fribes. Big Colt writes in and says, I don't have any gaming questions, but any good TV shows you're watching right now? I just finished The Bear, Hulu, and Severance. That's hilarious. I'm watching the exact same shows, or just finished both those shows. And they're two of my favorite shows in years. Yeah, Cole, Sean, I feel the exact same way. Severance is phenomenal, and The Bear is also very good. What's something else I watched recently that I really liked? Didn't like Obi-Wan. And there's actually a video by a YouTuber called Savage Books, who is a professional I don't know if he's a screenwriter, he's a screen editor, from what I understand. And he did a Reva character rewrite from Obi-Wan. And it just goes to show that Disney's writers are just completely lost in what they're doing, because his ideas were 10 times better. And granted, like, hindsight's 2020, he was basing it off of what he'd already seen and rewriting it, which is much easier than writing a character from scratch. But the whole time I was watching Reva and Obi-Wan, even though I really did not like her acting very much either. That's not a knock against her personally. I just really felt her performance was weak because of how poor the writing was. I think if she was given better material to work with, she would have been much more effective. But Reva was just a very wasted character, just not written well at all. And his rewrite of her was a prime example of that. I didn't mean to go on a huge tangent there, but
you're fine. That's so sad. Why do they keep messing with these Star Wars shows? I feel like these should be slam dunks.
I know. Yeah, it's a shame. Some other guy edited the whole show into a 2.5-hour movie, and apparently it's way more interesting, which is no surprise to me.
My goodness.
Anyway, those two shows are definitely highly recommended to me. I also really like Servant on Apple TV. The first 2 seasons especially are very good, and I'm only halfway through season 3, and I haven't watched it in a while, but the first 2 seasons from what I remember, Servant on Apple TV is really good.
So I've been watching One Piece, which is really good. That's on Crunchyroll. And I finished up Stranger Things on Netflix. So Garrett, I just got access to my father's HBO Max account. What is something on HBO that I need to watch besides Sopranos? Because I do want to watch that.
Yeah, Sopranos is on there. The Wire's on there. I know there are more that I'm completely forgetting. I just started a mini series called The Third Day that a coworker of mine said's really good. He and I are like talk about horror a lot, and it's like a horror thriller mini series.
Gotcha. I just didn't know if there was any shows on HBO that I was like, that you have to see besides like Game of Thrones.
I know there are some. I just can't think of them off the top of the head. So I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
It's worth obviously scrubbing through all that stuff to see. Yeah, I don't think there's any other shows presently I'm watching apart from Severance and The Bear that I could recommend, but definitely recommend those. They're awesome.
Thank you, Big Colt.
Big Colt! Broken Gamer writes in and says, "Hello, lovely gentlemen. I started surf skating months ago. I wanted to learn to skate when I was younger, but at age 39, I'm really enjoying it. Is there any other activity or hobby that you guys want to try but cannot find the time? If yes, what are they?" After you, Jacob.
What is surf skating?
Maybe he means surfing and skating, or maybe he just meant skating and threw in surf by accident.
Wait, no, I found an article. It says, what is surf skating? Okay, so it's a board that looks like a mini surfboard on wheels.
Interesting.
It's basically a skateboard.
Okay.
It just looks like a longer skateboard, basically. And there might be some design differences too, but so basically it's skating. I've always wanted to play a piano. Honestly, that's always been a thing that I've wanted to find time to do. I just never have been able to do. And I don't have a piano. That's another thing. So if I ever get a keyboard or something like that, that'll definitely be something that I try to pursue just because I've always loved listening to people play the piano. And I just think it's a really nice talent to have. There's a lot of like scenarios where, you know, sitting down to play a piano could be soothing or welcoming in a particular environment, and I'd always be really, I think I'd enjoy being able to, you know, play music in those situations. That'd be cool. That's really the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head. You got some, Garrett?
I have a couple. I have been dying to surf for years, and it's really just going to come down to me just setting the time aside to travel to an appropriate place to learn. I'm confident I can pick it up fairly quickly. I know it's different from skateboarding, it's different from snowboarding, but I can both snowboard and skateboard fairly well. I don't do them often enough, but skated a ton when I was a kid and can still ride a skateboard very well. I can ride bowls, I can kickflip, I can ollie, I can shove it. And snowboarding as well, I picked up very quickly. So I'm confident I have like the core knowledge to apply that to a surfboard, although it would probably take me several attempts to actually get going. But I'm confident I'd really enjoy it and could pick it up fairly quickly. So that's something I've been dying to do for a long time. And it's looking like it might be out of the cards for me this summer, unfortunately. One of these years, I really need to do that before I'm dead. So that's one of them. Piano's also been on my mind for a long time. I took a lot of music theory classes that involve piano in music school, but have never dedicated the time to actually learn it. That's just a self-discipline thing. It's like I choose to apply. I love learning. I love education, and I love growing in many ways. And music has been one I've neglected over the years. It just requires a lot of patience and dedication to become fairly talented. So I've not dedicated that time. I also really enjoy rock climbing, what little I've done of it. I just don't have any friends who rock climb regularly. I mean, I could go by myself, but it's always more fun to do things with friends. So I'd like to do more of that. I've only been a handful of times, but it's always fun.
I tried rock climbing with you.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots in Atlanta we can go. I mean, obviously, like the outdoor experience is the real experience, but even gyms where you can practice and like become belay certified and everything is still really fun. You can make it a date if you'd like, Jacob.
Yeah, we should. That'd be something fun to do. I would try that.
We can go this coming weekend if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
We should do it. We should go. Sure. We should go rock climbing in the morning. Get belay certified. It's like a 2-hour process at this gym near me.
Ooh.
Then go get some lunch after. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm down.
Sounds romantic to me, Jacob.
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. We can talk more about it later. You got any other hobbies that came to mind?
No, I was actually going to say rock climbing before you said it.
Nice.
I really was.
Certainly a popular hobby these days among many enthusiasts. So we'll just join the crowd, I guess. Donovan Warner writes in and says, "What's your comfort game?"
You know mine.
Yeah.
Everyone knows mine. World of Warcraft.
Easy. I don't know if I have an exclusive comfort game. I'd say a big one for me is any game I can play with Zach cooperatively. It's probably Halo 3 for me. When Zach and I are playing Halo 3, it's extremely peaceful. Even if we're playing competitively, it's just we're at peace playing that. Usually any single player game when I'm just completely by myself is nice. If it's not stress inducing. Like playing Spider-Man alone is very peaceful. Even playing Red Dead alone has been very peaceful. I don't really have an exclusive one, but I'd say if I had to pick one out of all those, it'd be Halo 3 with Zach.
That's good.
And thank you to Broken Gamer Donovan for writing in. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Oh, wait. The last one was Donovan Warner.
Yeah.
But Broken Gamer was the previous question.
Right. 32 Speedster Sam Harris writes in and says, "Gaming overlords. How are you? I just got back from my honeymoon and I had an excellent time. Asheville, North Carolina is amazing and I highly recommend it. A lot of breweries and good eats. Here's my question. After a few years of no E3, traditionally speaking, what are y'all's thoughts? Do you like the current Nintendo Direct-esque format, or would you prefer the chaotic energy and cringe fest of conventions? Bonus question. We'll get to that in a sec. Thoughts on E3's absence, Jacob?"
I miss it. I miss the big week where we had all the conventions at one time. I miss the big surge of gaming news that we got and all like the hype and the trailers and whatnot. I was a big fan of that. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. You know, everything's so spread out now. Like it seems like all the announcements that we even get just aren't as exciting for whatever reason. I don't know if that's because of where we are in our lives now, or if it's because they just simply aren't. There's just less things to be excited about. I'm really not sure. And not to mention PlayStation's never there anymore, which is one of the things I know me and you and Preston always look forward to the most. So it's just not been the same it's just not. So I miss, everyone sitting down and just having a hour block of just tuning into something and, then having like, oh, let's go eat some food. And then the next hour we'll have something else to be completely excited about. I just miss that week. And I'm assuming you feel pretty similar as well.
Yeah, very much the same. I've heard the same sentiment from many gaming personalities around the industry for a while now. I have an appreciation for the Direct-esque format to a degree. It is nice to see the concise nature and just immediate presentation of that. And it's curated and miraculously somehow publishers and studios still find a way to make it cringy to some degree. I guess that's just gaming culture in general, but I do appreciate them to a degree. But exactly what you said, I miss the excitement and energy that comes with the convention and watching it together with friends, particularly, are some of my greatest gaming memories.
And you've been there. You've been a part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's multi-tiered for me because I've experienced E3 twice now, working it and being there for the full week and also watching it with you guys growing up. And I love both very much. If I had to pick one for the rest of my life, it'd just be at home watching it with you guys. But being there really is special. And not just the announcements and playing games early, but meeting the developers behind them is what I was most passionate about, and having conversations with them. That's something I still have that passionate bone within me to do video production in the games industry because I love it so much. And I know I could do it well. It's just finding a full-time opportunity is extremely difficult in that industry. I'd like to think that if it returns next year, I'd love to go back with COG again and produce content for them because that's some of the most fun I've ever had with video games is meeting those people at those events.
Yeah.
And then just all the extracurricular events at E3, like the after parties and the all the things that happen during E3 week is just ridiculously fun amidst all the work. I miss that deeply, and I'd love to see it returned in full fashion. But apparently the people who run PAX are taking over for running E3, which is a whole nother beast. PAX is similar but much different because I've been to PAX twice as well, or at least past PAX West, and it's similar but much different from E3. So I hope they can pull it off. We'll see. But yeah, I miss it.
I mean, not to say that. I mean, I know you kind of said this too, but the way it is now, it's not all bad. We get more frequent announcements throughout the year, I would say on average, and it always gives you a little something to look forward to more frequently, like I just said. So it's not all bad. It kind of spreads out the hype a little bit. You can make an argument that 1 week is just too much to fit in or to give every game its due diligence in the spotlight. So just for me personally, I enjoyed all the hype overload, I guess you could call it.
Same. Yeah, there's nothing quite like conference day when we would, of course, start the day together. And then we get lunch, usually Taco Bell, in between conferences. And then later on in that night, we get pizza. It's just so much fun and reacting to everything together.
And we start the day with Microsoft, end it with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. Good times, man. Bonus question is donuts or bagels? I know the obvious answer, but at least talk it out. Have a great week, gaming overlord. Stay speedy. Thank you, Sam Harrison. Congrats on, of course, your wedding, joining the military, and your adventurous and excellent time in Asheville on your honeymoon. Appreciate your support as always. Donuts easily for me, but I appreciate a good bagel. There are a lot of good things you can do with bagels. And I recognize that, but I'm always going to pick donuts over bagels.
I think a very good bagel is pretty close to a good donut, if I'm being honest. But I think I'm with you, Garrett. Donuts, the best donut is just better than almost any bagel.
I agree.
It's better than almost anything, if I'm being honest. It's one of the best things you can consume.
Now, you call me a corporate shill, but I've had great donuts all over the United States, even some in the UK that are really good, but I'll still take a classic Krispy Kreme donut over all of them every single time.
I have to back that. I second it. They have very top-notch donuts. I don't even know how they do it. I don't know how they make them so good.
Something special, man, about their glaze is next level for sure.
I want to go now.
Me too, man. Me too.
Wish there was one close.
Yeah, the one near me burned to the ground twice. It was arson. Someone hated that Krispy Kreme. It was Shaq's Krispy Kreme.
How could they hate it?
I don't know, dude. Someone it was probably like a disgruntled employee and just wanted to watch it all burn to the ground. The whole city's suffering because of it. So it's a shame. There is another one not far from me, but it's not as good. Anyway, that'll do it for episode 272 of the It's Obvious podcast. Thank you to each and every one of you who tuned in. We greatly appreciate it as always. And all of you who wrote in always makes the end of the podcast that much more fun. And
yes, it does.
You can listen to this podcast on any of your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. And we love y'all. And we're grateful we were able to be back after 3 weeks. It was not due to laziness. It was purely based on our schedules conflicting. And I was out of town for 2 weeks straight. But yeah, I'm very glad we got to do this, Jacob. Love doing it with you. And one of these days, we're going to get Preston back on here.
Yeah, love to have him. I miss him to death. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's always great to have you guys tuning in. We love the questions every week that you guys send in. So be sure to send more juicy ones in, and we will always answer them.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jacob, it was good seeing you, and I'll catch you again soon.
Yep. I'm going to miss you. Bye.